Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate, and it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, when we talk about selling, it turns out that a home is usually one of the largest assets for almost everyone. That 401k sometimes too, but many people have sat on the sidelines, decided not to buy because rates and or prices are just too high. So Barb, there are ways to make homes more attractive and affordable to buyers. Tell us about those.
Well, I think there are quite a few buyers sitting on the sidelines right now just because pure demographics. Generation X, Y, and Z are all of age and they all have jobs where they could be buying homes. But the problem is, it's unaffordable. Like, if they get 100% financing VA loan on a house that's at 400,000 or 410,000, which is not that high compared to homes around the Colorado Springs and the Front Range area, their payment's almost 3,000 a month. For a lot of people, that means that they have to make well over 100,000 a year to be able to afford that. So people are waiting for the rates to come down. They're waiting for the prices to come down, but it's just not happening yet. If it does, I'll let you know for sure. But what sellers can do to expedite the sales process is they can offer incentives to their buyers, just like the builders do. As an example, they can offer, to help with the closing cost so the buyer can buy down the interest rate. They can help them with many different things. Like we've seen a lot of sellers more recently offer a VA assumable loan that already has a low interest rate. If the buyer has a down payment, that's a great way to incentivize a buyer. And we know how to market that. So, in general, it's a good thing to buy a house because over time, the monthly payment stays the same, as the value in general goes up. Now, it's seasonal. It could drop. It did happen back during the meltdown. I just don't see it happening, at least not in this area. If you watch YouTube and some of those other channels are saying, oh, the sky is falling, and they mentioned Colorado, but I'm not seeing it, at least in my practice. I'm seeing it in places like Florida. I'm seeing it in some other areas. We might be seeing it around the DC area because there's a lot of government workers that were asked to go home because they weren't showing up for work. And so there could be little local areas that are impacted by that, where you might see the prices drop a little bit. The other problem that some home buyers might have is they might have a house to sell before they can buy. And we actually have a solution for that. Let's say like I just spoke to a seller a couple days ago who basically went and purchased a new home that's being built. It's not going to be ready for till the summer. And she's like, okay, how do we time this right? So we don't have just timing as an option. We also have a cash offer program where they're able to get their home sold without worrying about losing their new construction home. And we can offer that to anybody, any address in the country. What I saw happen recently, I had somebody make an offer on one of my listings. That buyer had a house to sell. And to make my listing more attractive to that buyer, I said, hey, if you have a house to sell, send me the address. I'll put it up on my cash offer platform. I will get you a half dozen cash offers right now. So I gave her those offers and they rejected them. Some of them were full market value. They could have done it, but instead, that buyer didn't get that house. Somebody else got the house. And so, it's surprising that some other, I don't know how they characterize the offer, but these were pretty good offers. And it wasn't that much difference in price in terms of where they went on to list their home and wait for a live in the home buyer to buy the home. So pretty often nowadays, buyers are asking for the sellers to pay their loan closing cost. Now, sellers don't like this because they already have their own closing costs, which are typically commission, taxes, and title. So when you tax on another 10 to 15, even $25,000 of seller paid closing cost, the sellers are not happy. But the other choice is lower the price and wait for another buyer to come along. And if you have other choices, if you have other buyers wanting to buy the house, then you're in the best position ever. You may not have to do that. But there's an awful lot of buyers that are buying the home with all the cash reserves that they have. And in order to make the payment more affordable, what they're doing is asking the seller, hey, if you cover, say, 10,000 of my closing cost, I can use some of that money to buy down the interest rate. Then I can afford to buy your home and I can afford the payment. It's not a bad strategy to get it done. That will absolutely reduce the timeline of the selling process for a home seller. And these, incentives, you can negotiate them. I'm working with one seller right now that said, all right, I'll pay your closing costs, but we're going to go up in price to cover it because we already have it priced pretty aggressively. And I think that the buyer's on board with doing that. So there's different ways to handle that. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team. And I'm the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And I really love doing this. This is fun to be able to share my experience. I hope it's educational and fun for people to listen to. And what we're talking about right now is if you're a home seller, how do you get your home on the buyer's must-see list? And when we come back, we're going to talk about, so what do we need to do to find out about these homes? How do we market these homes so the buyers do put it on their must list? And I'll give you some ideas about that. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900. I have over 28,110 buyers in waiting just on my little website. In addition, the cash offer buyers that are willing to pay pretty close to full market value for these homes. And we also have local investors that will give you a good price for your home. So at least you have choices with us. Most agents' only solution is to take a home, put it on the market, post it, and hope and pray somebody else has a buyer. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, but we're talking about how to motivate buyers to put their home on that must-see list. It's very, very important. What are the particulars of those types of offers?
Well, Richard, first of all, it's all about pricing. Pricing actually is your first impression. And I will say, I've handled over the years, I've been working for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, handling some of their properties now since 2012. I've handled over 200 of them. And one thing they get right 100% of the time is pricing it right. They don't underprice unless the home is gutted or something like that. They price it what I call realistically, and typically are getting a buyer within a month or two versus waiting 4 or 5 months and having to slowly walk the price down because a home seller unrealistically priced their home. So pricing absolutely is the first impression. If a home is priced right, it's always going to sell faster than one that's priced high for negotiating room or hoping that a buyer will overpay for the home. And so, the big thing for buyers right now is affordability. With the rates being in the sixes at this time, buyers don't necessarily need a down payment as long as they can afford the payment. I've seen conventional loans where they can put down as little as 3%. I've seen conventional loans where they could do 5, 10, even 20%. For VA and FHA loans, if they have down payment assistance, a home buyer can get in the door with zero down, even $1,000 out of pocket. So those are out there, but the buyer has to be able to afford the payment. So a lot of people assume when buyers are buying a home, okay, like it shows on Zillow, oh, if you put 20% down, this is how it's going to work. But what makes a buyer pick one home over the other is about price. And as an example, these VA properties that I have, some of them are not so pretty. Some of them are a little bit cosmetically challenged. They try to get full market value, but it just depends on what happened to them before they got the property. But they're still all selling. Even ones that really need a pretty major rehab are still selling. So they are very good at this because they know how to do this one thing very well, which is price. I know how to market. I can get them there with my marketing. I don't just use my smartphone to take pictures of homes. I take professional photos of every single listing. I don't care what kind of shape it's in, because we want to make sure that we're attracting all the buyers in the buyer population, not just, the primo live in the home type buyer. And investors actually buy homes too. Some buy them to keep and rent. Some buy them to turn around and remodel and resell. Some of them, want to hold on to them for a while. They all have different motivations. Some of them are just kind of handy and they want to live in that home and repair it as they go along. So there are those buyers, and if you price it right, you will attract those buyers. Let me tell a story. I had one last summer, and it was very cosmetically challenged. The basement was pretty much down to the studs, especially the bathroom. The bathroom and the bedrooms had dramatic carpet. The bedrooms had dramatic paint with sparkle and lots of crazy color and stuff like that. One of the bathrooms was down to the studs pretty much. The carpet was probably original and the home was built in the 70s. So it needed work. But what the seller agreed to do was to price it aggressively. We ended up getting about 3 dozen buyers at 2 different open houses. We ended up having 10 offers and the home sold for 40,000 over asking price because we're able to create demand for a home that wasn't perfect. It wasn't in perfect shape. And people don't sell homes very often. One of the things that we want to make sure that our clients are really well prepared for is good communication. Make sure there's any legal issues that have to take care of, that we're disclosing any issues that are going on, that we're taking care of any marketing problems. And one of the questions I get all the time is, what's the best website where are the homes that you have? So some of the homes that we have are not online at all. And we will actually give our buyers insider access. In fact, at the last segment, we'll be talking about how we're offering this investor invitational system right now, because we meet with a lot of home sellers every week. They all have different strategies. Not all of them want a full retail sale. They're ready to go right away, and we can help investors find homes like that if they're interested in being on that list. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. When we meet with home sellers, we actually take a look at their home, give them tips on what to do, what not to do to prepare their home for sale. We'll go over all the similar sales and give them a really good idea what their home will sell for based on their selling strategy, and show them exactly how much they'll put in their pocket when it sells. So call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice. She's with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the owner broker. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing, do you need to pay a buyer's agent when you're purchasing a house here in Colorado? Stay tuned for that.